Johnson on the left versus Brandon Adams on the right. Given that it's game 3, I'm going to go ahead and conjecture that the current game score is 1-1.
It's a good guess.
It could have a draw.
It's happened.
Seeing as we don't know their deck lists in the dark, I give the advantage to whichever person is on the play. A small advantage, but you saw a Slag Storm out of one of them?
No, I'm saying Slag Storm does exist in terms of they could have drawn a game.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, Andreas is on the play here.
Then I like Andreas as a 53-47 favorite.
Funny story about Christian Calcano, now a phenom. About 5 years ago in a PTQ, he was at 2 and I was at 4, and I had no way to win the game at all. I had nothing left and no cards in my hand, and he charged me, and we drew that game. I had to play another game, and then he beat me anyway.
So Brandon Adams leading. So Andreas Johnson, it looks like he's playing. Is that blue-white or is that Esper? I didn't see his first land, but it looks like he's playing blue-white, probably Clawblade, some kind of blue-white blade deck. Meanwhile, Brandon Adams is very clearly playing some sort of a Wolf Run deck.
Now, the most important card here for Andreas is going to be Mirror Crusader.
Does he have Mirror Crusader in his deck?
Well, we don't know that for sure, but...
Yeah, a lot of the blue-white players, not everybody has Mirror Crusader. I mean, a good number do now, but there are some that just don't, and from the looks of it, his mana doesn't support it right now anyway. Like, he doesn't have the right lands for it.
So Brandon's probably going to go ahead and grab a Llanowar Elf, or Birds of Paradise.
Yep, anything he can to accelerate. There's that crucial second white. Now, is he gonna day just to kill the? Oh, there's the Mirror Crusader you talked about. Yeah, he does have the other white. That puts a pretty fast clock down on Brandon.
Yeah, and that's really the most important card here in this matchup for Andreas. Brandon is trying to power through. He has double Ink Moth, and it's going to be interesting what he chooses to do here. He can maybe he bashes in for 1 infect, and then plays a mana guy. That'll mean that if he Primeval Titans the next turn, and the turn after that, he will be able to have lethal infect.
It's important to know that extra, how the math works out.
Yeah, just like counting up to the math, but doesn't do that. I don't know what he has in his hand, so perhaps that's not an option for him.
Maybe he just could not afford to risk getting dismembered. Yeah. Which is reasonable.
That's completely reasonable.
The thing, though, is if he's got Dismember, he can Dismember your Llanowar Elf anyway.
Yeah.
So I think you just do it.
And maybe he doesn't even have the Titan.
He fetches up, he's got a green-white land, so very clearly he's playing that version we talked about before.
Yeah.
Some version. We don't know if he's playing the more aggressive build, but I'm guessing based on the way things have been playing out that he's playing the Day of Judgment, Elish, Norn, Gideon version.
Yes.
Oh, they also have 1 White Sun Zenith, who's another card, which is kind of...
Ooh!
I know, it's pretty interesting.
Meow! That's a card I can get behind. I like that card a lot.
So it's interesting, leading with the Simulacrum instead of whatever his big boom boom is. Maybe he's playing around Mana Leak? Maybe he's playing around Flash Freeze. It may just be that he didn't want to walk face first into a Flash Freeze when he can just stick with Simulacrum. He's going to have to start presenting some powerful threats soon, though, because he can't just keep taking Crusader hits.
And I'm surprised you don't just jump there with the Solemn.
Why not? Get the extra card. The damage isn't what's going on.
Like, it's not like you're going to be, getting power on offense from that.
So Nope. So he's not playing around Mana Leak or Flash Freeze this turn. But it could also just be that he's just drawing it out. And it's good that he's actually playing it now while he still has 12 life, so that Andreas is going to spend a turn sending the Crusader at the Garruk. A lot of people will wait too long because they want to see if there's any way to keep that Garruk alive. But now it's actually paying off that he has the Simulacrum.
Simulacrum. So it was actually a good play on Brandon Adams' part. to not block with that Solemn Simulacrum. We did not know that he had the Garrett Primal Hunter in hand.
Although I think we've all learned a very valuable lesson about questioning the Wolf Run players' play. You know? Maybe not. I don't know. I'm just saying things. All right. So Andreas probably has a counterspell in his hand. Hopefully, because if he doesn't, if he's just sitting on like removal spells,
then he's in a rough spot. So at higher tournament levels, you have to be careful there, because when you move that Solemn Simulacrum up to block before you have tapped that mana to activate that Incon Nexus, you can get into some trouble.
Even here, if Andreas Johnson could have got it.
Yeah, he definitely could have got him for that. That was generous.
If this resolves, this is going to be a real bad. Not even just because it's a Primeval Titan. Oh, yeah, here it's resolving. It's not even just because it's a Primeval Titan, which is obviously unreal bad, but
he's going to draw 6 cards. That's a lot of cards.
That is. I like Brandon's chances. I really do.
I.
Now, we don't actually know Andreas' deck list here. There's nothing that says that he couldn't just stick an Angelic Destiny on the Mirror Crusader and win next turn.
Yeah, that's completely reasonable.
I actually like Angelic Destiny in Callblade right now. Like in moderation. I mean, it's a fun. No, it like.
no, I just thought it was funny.
No, we are nothing if not lovers of moderation, or the lack thereof. You know. Speaking of moderation, Brandon draws 6 cards, which is moderately good.
See,
yeah, because he could have a Sword of War and Peace next turn too. Like Mirror Crusader is a dangerous card.
See, that's what I was saying. Like, that card can win the game completely by itself. Like, that card... We just saw Brandon Adams have a very, very, very powerful turn, and there are multiple cards that could just be cast by Andreas and just end the game immediately.
Actual immediately, too. Just one hit. Just one hit, one kill. One shot, one kill. Eminem Lose Yourself style.
The coup de grace.
He doesn't really have any hope of stabilizing, right? Like, Day of Judgment is not going to get him anywhere. Like, he's facing down... Like, he can kill the Garruk and Day and sweep the board, so that he merely is facing down 7 cards and 8 mana and Nexus Wolf Run and... Like, he can't... Because, like, how does he start making forward progress? Like, no, see, he doesn't have the Destiny. Probably doesn't even play it in his deck.
So I guess he's got a Day.
He's got a Day. And he's got a Nexus, so at least he's presenting something next turn, in theory. Like, he's got a blocker eventually for the Nexus, and maybe he's 2 turns away from putting a sword on something.
And Brand's just going to cast another Primeval Titan and have some infect damage.
Yeah. The fact that he discarded a Green Sun Zenith makes it very clear he has Titan in his hand.
Yes. And we have not seen his hand, but we can only assume.
Well, the Titan is on the table at the moment. And now Brandon is getting another Nexus and probably either another, like a green-white dual land or something. Possibly a Wolf Run. The rumors of Valakut's demise were greatly exaggerated.
And Primeval Titan is a very powerful effect.
Definitely. Do you think Kessig Wolf Run has any chance of showing up in Modern? You know, like with Valakut banned.
I don't know. I just don't think it's fast enough. There are so many things you can do in that format.
Not even with like a Knight of the Reliquary deck?
I guess searching up a singleton is pretty sweet. You're already like using slots in like Sagiri Step and stuff like that, though. I like playing 2 Sagiri Steps, but I'm crazy.
That's correct. 2 Sagiri Steps?
Do you know how sweet it is the second time they go for it?
They never. I mean, you usually don't have it in your deck for the first one, and when they get gotten, they feel like, okay, he earned it. They never see the second step coming, ever.
Ever.
All right, so Solemn Simulacrum and Thrun, of all things. Another day has killed the second Primeval Titan, and at this point, Brandon has an obnoxious amount of mana in play.
Yes.
Thrun being the ideal additional creature to drop now, because obviously there's nothing that stops Thrun from just, you know, going all the way. Like just.
Well, he does not have the 2 mana open to regenerate the Thrun.
He just is that sure that Andreas doesn't have the third day in a row. I guess it doesn't really matter though. He still has 5 cards in his hand.
Yeah, I mean he still has
Oh yeah. Snapcastering the day would be pretty good here.
But even then, he has the Ink Moths with Kessig Friends.
Now, usually, historically, this matchup is kind of a close one, but I think people would say that Clawblade might have a very small, or that like Blue White Blade decks have a very small edge, just because of like if you have Mirror and Crusader, if you go that route a little bit. But it's up to how the Blue White deck is built, right? Like the more towards Destiny, the more aggressive you play. If you play Heroes, if you play things like that, it becomes tougher for the Wolfrun player. But if you're playing more, you know, removal or Planeswalkers, it's actually, you know, not as tough.
Yeah, the Wolfrun deck really preys on controlling decks.
Yeah.
So the more you're trying to control the game, the more you're going to get run over by some wolves.
Yeah, it's weird because cards like Flash Freeze and Mana Leak are so good against Wolfrun if you're doing something, so that they're a time
Yes.
lock. But if you're just trying to take control of the game,
They don't work because Wolfrun outcards you.
yeah. And I think that's a big part of the reason why we've seen the pure blue-black control and the pure blue-white control decks die off, you know?
Yeah, that's almost certainly been the biggest reason for their demise.
And so, are we seeing Midnight Haunting?
That's a Moorland Haunt token.
A Moorland Haunt. The
Yes.
other kind of haunting. So, we're seeing some big Kessig Wolfrun action here. Andreas taking 10. If he drops the Grook, might as well draw 4 more cards, right? Like, why not? Andreas packs it in. Once things start going out of control,
Yeah.
it's really hard.
It's actually 9 cards because he had activated the Wolfrun on it.
Touche.